Oh. Hello lovelies, how are you all doing? I'm steamy hot. I've got a window open. I hope it won't be an issue with street sounds. I'm hoping not, because it's Sunday, it should be quieter. But the reason it's open, the sun's moved around, and for the first time in a few days we've actually got a really good stiff breeze, and it's an easterly, which means it comes in across the bay, so I can smell the sea. And yeah, every now and again a little waft of it gets into the flat and helps to cool things. Yeah, you might think I'm mad steam pressing. So this cloth has just been washed. Press it before any of the creases have a chance to set. I think what we'll do is, I've almost finished this, we'll go out the back for the rest of today. But yeah, it's no two ways about it, it is quite warm, and it's certainly a warm day to be steam pressing, but it's work. Work goes on. It's like I was saying the other day in the garden or wherever. We can't just all sort of down tools and stop working because it's a bit warm. Anyway, yes, this is another one for my shop. I'll get this done. I'm actually amazed I'm standing today, because last night, what a nerve-wracker, I watched the England versus Norway in the football in the World Cup. Literally every World Cup and every Euros I say the same thing. I can't ever watch England playing again. I just can't do it. It's too nerve-wracking. I'm sure everyone from every nation feels the same about their team. But it was joyous, and I won't go into detail because I know there's a lot of you who don't give a fig about sport, but it should have finished around about midnight UK time. But then there was extra time, so it ended up going till, it must have been 12, quarter to 1-ish. The final whistle blew, of course the cheer, and at that moment I actually turned the sound off on my telly just for a moment, because I had all my windows open, you know, try and get some of the cool of the night breeze to blow through. Just in that moment I turned it off, and I could just hear all around Swanage all these cheers and whoops and lots of very happy sounds. It was great. Anyway, turned the sound back on and I thought, right, okay, I'll watch the next game. It's Argentina versus Switzerland. I don't know, it got to about 2 o'clock and I thought, no, I'm dog tired, I've got a busy day tomorrow, Sunday, which is now today. I will leave it. So by the time you see this, the World Cup, will it be over? It might even be over. Goodness knows what will have happened. Will 60 years of hurt be over? I don't know. I think there are teams left in it. I think basically all 3 of the teams, apart from us, that are left in it are better than us, so it would be a fluke if we went any further. But anyway, it's been fun, and just that moment of hearing the town erupt, sweet. Yes, so what else has been going on? Oh, I made a couple of notes. Oh yeah, so last night, the other thing that occurred to me, I can't wait for this moment. It looks like the weather's going to be changing and cooling down a little bit soon. But water, gosh, we've had no rain for ages. We've had moments of drizzle that just kind of, it's just enough to spoil the day, but not enough to really do anything for either our gardens or, more importantly, for the farms, for farmland. But I was looking at the forecast and it looks like maybe towards the end of next week we might start to have a couple of rain days, and we might even have a bit of a thundery lightning day. I've got to mop my brow, I'm seriously boiling. We might have some rain due, and as I was watering the garden last night I was thinking, I can't wait for that first bit of rain, and if it happens in the day or if it happens when I'm awake and up, I'm going to go straight out into the garden and I'm just going to go breathe it in, petrichor, that lovely smell of dry, bone dry, warm soil that then gets wet by rain. It's absolutely gorgeous. It's an interesting phenomena, petrichor. I think it's only a recently kind of, not necessarily discovered, but it's a recently sort of described phenomena. I think only within the last 20 or 30 years or so. But it's to do with when the rain re-wets the soil, it's a release of some bacteria, and that's shown to give us a dopamine hit. Or is it dopamine? And it's basically our endorphins. It's shown to make us happy. So yeah, as soon as that rain comes, rush out to your garden, or if you don't have a garden, rush out to your park, get down there with your nose and have a massive whoosh in of that gorgeous, gorgeous smell. But yeah, it has been really dry, and I think there's quite a few areas are starting to be in hosepipe ban territory now. So it's just a reminder, isn't it, that we all need to use water. We should just be careful with our water. So for instance, I've got my jug in place now at the kitchen sink, and a watering can that lives in the kitchen for now, one of the big watering cans. So every time I run a tap, if I want to run it for not a minute, but if I want to run it for a couple of seconds till it runs cold, talking of which, let me have a slug. I run it into the jug rather than just down the plug hole, and then that jug gets added to the watering can. Any little bits of spare water during the day if a tap gets run goes straight into that watering can, jug watering can, gets used to water. My washing up, after I've done my washing up, that gets used in the garden. I should say I use a really mild plant-based washing up liquid, so I wouldn't do it with Fairy, or I think the equivalent of Fairy in the States is Dawn. I wouldn't do it with either of those horrible, horrible products. But yeah, mine's, because it's just a mild plant-based one, happy to put it on the garden. What I don't do, I don't put it in the same part of the garden every time. So sort of starting at one end, so that when I'm watering with a watering can with fresh water, they all get a chance with fresh water too. But yeah, we're definitely into that time of needing to think about conserving our water, using less wherever we can. I mean, we ought to think like that all the time anyway. Apart from anything, for your own water bill, keep it down. But there we go. Yes, I am looking forward to that first moment of rain and having a whoosh, that whooshy smell of petrichor. Also in news, what else? Oh yes, so this was in the news the other night. It made me giggle. The Bayeux tapestry has come to the UK. The reason it made me giggle was, obviously this is an incredibly important artwork. It's an incredibly important piece of art. Look, I'm sure most of you know what the Bayeux tapestry is. For those who don't, really quick explanation. It's made from panels about this deep, and it runs along. I can't remember how many feet long it is. Made, gosh, it was shortly after, around the time of 10th, it's around the time of the Norman conquests. So William the Conqueror from France coming over to the UK, yay, conquers us. So it's almost like a cartoon strip, this great long cartoon strip, and it's all stitched, it's all hand stitched. A retelling of the history of that moment. And it has lived for years in the town of Bayeux, hence it's called the Bayeux tapestry. Tapestry is a misnomer, it's an embroidery. But yeah, it's coming to, well, it's arrived, and it arrived under the cover of dark in this mega secure truck. And I was thinking it's like a heist in reverse, or maybe maybe it is a heist, maybe the Brits have stolen the Bayeux Tapestry back, I don't know, controversial. But yeah, it's how exciting, and it's the first time since I've moved down here that I've thought, oh, I wish I lived in London still. So it's going to be on display. I'm not sure when the show starts, but it's going to be on display from now-ish right through until, I believe, July of next year, either June or July. I know there's a J in it, June or July. It has sold out from now till Christmas. It's sold out. So if you want to see it, get your skates on and book a ticket. Don't know how much the tickets are, but of course it's on at the fabulous British Museum. So if you can, if you live near enough, you know, make a day of it, buy a ticket for the Bayeux Tapestry, but then have the rest of the day at the British Museum, because it's a fantastic museum. Oh, and the more I'm talking about it, the more I think, oh, I miss London. Now it is the thing I miss about London, is the museums and the galleries and what have you. I'm getting there with this cloth. I'm just going to drape it for a second. Yeah, just so much going on all the time. And also with the Bayeux Tapestry. Now I wrote this down because I had to remember her name. Earlier this year I read that wonderful book by Clare called Threads of Life. It was a real surprise to me. I'll see if I can remember which video it's in, maybe link back to it. It was a real surprise to me. I picked it up as a punt. I think the subtitle was something like Social History Through the Eye of a Needle. And I thought, well, I'll give it a go. You know, I'm very interested in textiles and sewing, kind of studied it at uni, I'm doing my first degree. Yeah, I'll have a little look. I really, really loved it. So it's sort of social history through made objects, made as in embroidered, sewn, stitched. There's a whole section on the Bayeux Tapestry. Absolutely fascinating. Let me just turn the iron off a minute. So yeah, if you are interested in particular, like I said, it's Clare Hunter is the writer. The book is Threads of Life. Brilliant. Right, I might just actually now get this outside on the line to air in this lovely sea breeze. So whoever buys it is going to buy a whiff of the sea breeze with it. And then let's go to the back of the house where it's a bit cooler and more shady for a couple of other bits and bobs to share. Got a chill. Well, I had hoped to sit in the shade in the garden to do this next bit. However, it's probably because it's the weekend. Two things. One, suddenly I can hear Punch and Judy. Clear as if it was like in the next door garden. It must be that wind carrying the sound. But also there's some live music coming from somewhere, I know not where. So if that's in the background of my video, I'll get a copyright strike and, you know, I won't earn a single penny for the video, which defeats the point of making videos. Anyway, so in the kitchen for now, which is fine. I shall go out later on when I finish filming. I'll have my lunch out there in an hour or so. Excuse me. In the meantime, just lots and lots of water. The other day, well, you know, for my birthday, my lovely friend Kate bought me this other Dale Pinnock book. And I started, I don't know if you can see in the top, I started to go through it one evening, quite late in the evening. I'd had my dinner, so I shouldn't have been hungry. But it was that kind of quiet time of day, 10 at night, when I start to relax. I thought, oh, I'll go through this. I stopped putting markers in the pages because literally everything looks gorgeous. And I know Kate joked with her note to me saying, don't worry, you can put cheese on the top of everything. Actually, I'm not vegan because I do still have a bit of cheese. I try to have less cheese now than ever before. I do have a bit of yoghurt and that's about it, unless I get a gift of some eggs. But the vast majority of what I eat actually is vegan, just because, you know, it's nice food. You know, it doesn't need anything else. So I was looking through all these and thinking, yeah, they don't need anything else. There are, I mean, there's loads I want to do, but there's one I've picked out to make soon with you all, because I think it's the kind of one that I think most of you will have the ingredients in your store cupboard. And I thought also I might have a little chat when I make that one, just about my take on recipe books and when I'm looking through them and how I'm choosing what to do and what have you. So we'll do that. I'm just trying to think. I've picked a stovetop recipe rather than an oven recipe. And like I said, we are due this one particular day. It's going to be rain all day. I really hope it'll clear the air because it's so humid and muggy. So maybe I'll do the cooking that day. Other things to get on with, I need to, I'll do this afternoon. I buy these plain brown, they're like old luggage labels, fine plain brown. And then I personalise them with my stamp, and then one of these goes in with every order. Usually with a little note, but always with a thank you, to say thank you to people, anyone who's bought something from my shop. Anyway, I've run out, so that'll take me a minute or two. That's a job for this afternoon. Also I've got out, the other day, you know, I did the yoghurt and coulis in the freezer. What I forgot to do, because I've seen this when I've seen people talking about, you know, ice cream making and frozen yoghurt making in the freezer, is that before it sets, you're supposed to sort of beat it to help kind of beat out any ice crystals. I didn't do that, I forgot to do that. So what I've done is I took that out of the freezer. I only took about I kind of gouged about a third of it out, let it slightly melt a little bit, and then I kind of mashed it with my fork, and it was lovely. It's really lovely. That strawberry coulis, I've been so enjoying it with yoghurt. So I've been having it not as a frozen dessert, because I think I've got one portion of that left, but just out of the fridge. Such a lovely kind of, it just feels cool, but it also, I think because the yoghurt is so creamy, it feels like, it just feels a bit indulgent. And then that, oh God, the coulis on the top, it's so lovely. The other thing I fished out is my box of my paintbrushes. I want to pick, yeah, that's a good size. I'm going to take a size 8 paintbrush, so it's of a decent size. Having spotted that, paint my face. What did I spot? The uchikikuri fruit forming. I thought, oh yeah, let's do some hand pollinating. So literally all I will do is go into the flower, give it a wiggle, go and find another flower, give it a wiggle, come back to the first flower, just keep giving them a wiggle between all the flowers. I learned to do this from my grandfather, who made a homemade pollinator, hand pollinator for my mum, which I remember from when I was a kid, and it was around for years. Now, I don't want anyone to be squeamish about this. My grandparents lived off the land. They were self-sufficient people. So for a long time they raised rabbits, they bred rabbits for both meat. So they would eat the meat, they'd sell the meat, and then with the pelt, Grandad would treat the pelt and then send them all off up to London to a glove maker in London, and they used the rabbit fur as trim. Now, of course, I wouldn't want rabbit fur trimmed gloves. I wouldn't want that in my life now, and I personally wouldn't breed rabbits for their meat, purely because, well, vegetarian. However, if you're going to live off the land, you know, raising your own animals, at least you know that you're giving those animals, if you're going to eat meat that's been raised, that's, you know what I'm trying to say, I get emotional about all of this. Make sure those animals have had a good life. Anyway, so one of the things my granddad made for my mum years ago, it's just a stick, but with just a bit of, one of the bits of rabbit pelt that, I don't know, maybe that, it was a scrap, not good enough for the glove maker, I don't know what it was, but it's on the end of this stick, so it's a little bit of rabbit fur, but it's so soft, it's great for pollinating. Now, I'm not going to be doing it with rabbit fur, obviously, so a little paintbrush is good enough for me, an old makeup brush, a little, you know, you want it to be gentle enough you're not going to damage anything in there. You want it to be big enough to be able to get a bit of pollen onto it, so you can dot that pollen around. Who was I talking? Oh, I was talking about this with Paul. We were talking about when you get those really wonky courgettes, which seem sort of like normal fatness, normal fatness, normal fatness, and then suddenly they go on the end, like a sort of, remember those long balloons when you were a kid and you blow them up and they'd be long and long and fat, and there was always a bit at the end that went at the end. That's probably through poor pollination. That one flower hasn't had enough visits. So I shall be visiting my flowers. I should do that this afternoon actually, while the flowers are open, while there's no dew on them, while I remember. Dew, I don't think there's any chance of dew at the moment. Dew would kind of connote that there was any moisture anywhere. I mean, there's moisture in the air, no doubt about that. The other thing, do you remember I mentioned this was a birthday gift from Sarah New? Ooh, gosh, shiny, shiny. The solid hand cream bar. There you go again. It's got a little bee and sort of almost honeycomb on it, because it's got beeswax in it. So it's actually really similar to the balm I've always made for myself. This, though, smells gorgeous. The scents in it are lavender, geranium, sweet orange, lime, frankincense, myrrh and clove. Beautiful. I would have it for the smell alone. However, that's silly. I'm really boiling. I've had to close the back door because of the music. I'll open it again in a mo. It's silly to use something just because of the smell. It has to work, doesn't it? Otherwise, what's the point? So I used this on my hands, and I literally just, with the bar, I just sort of rubbed it against the other palm for a moment. That was enough, the warmth of my skin to melt it a bit, and then rubbed it all over my hands. I liked it instantly. Like I said, it's very similar to the balms I use, or that I make, or used to make. I haven't got enough calendula. What I would say though is, I think a lot of people would find it quite greasy on their hands, just because if you're used to buying hand cream, proprietary hand cream from the shops, the biggest ingredient in pretty much all those hand creams is water. So once you've got it on your hands, you go, oh, it's nice and silky and smooth, isn't it? That water's going to evaporate, and you go, oh, look, it's all soaked in. A lot of it has evaporated. So I'd say on your hands, maybe at bedtime, great for gardeners' hands, or for kitchen porters' hands. I remember what it's like to be a kitchen porter when you're up to your elbows in steaming, greasy water all day. Nurses' hands, of course. So you might want to just have it on at night. But I didn't stop there with it. I actually used it as an all over my body. Obviously we're all, well, not all, but I am catching quite a lot of sun at the moment. You know, if you're in and out of the water. It was lovely after my shower. Again, just warmed it between my hands, and then I could put it onto shoulders. But again, it's a really rich, creamy one. So I think, I love it, but I think some folk may prefer it as a winter treat, maybe from October onwards, where after your bath or shower at night and you slather it on, and then you're getting into sort of thick pyjamas and socks and a hoodie to curl up on the sofa with your book or whatever. gorgeous, and it's going to soak into your skin and really give it a nice moisturise. But for the summer, at the moment, I certainly won't want it on my face, because my face is literally sliding off every 2 minutes. Yeah, I think it would be a bit too much on a face in the summer. You might find it too much anywhere on your body at the moment, because yeah, at night time it's still been really quite hot at night, hasn't it? And I think we just want to feel like our skin is just breathing. Please let my skin breathe. I need more water. I'll have some water off camera. That's better, glug of water. I've chatted for longer than I realised, so I think I'd better say goodbye to you all. I've got plenty to be getting on with to keep me out of mischief until, well, a certain sporting fixture this afternoon that starts with Whim and ends in Bulldon. It's the men's final today. I watched the women's final yesterday. I always make time for it. So even if it's a working day, I'm going to say to myself, right, at 4 o'clock, everything stops for tennis. I don't care what's happening, I have to stop for tennis. So I'm going to motor on now and get everything else done that's on my list. Hopefully get it all done by 4. Anyway, waffling. I will see you all again really soon. I hope, I'm not sure, who knows for what, probably a bit more in the garden. And hopefully by the time you're seeing this, things are cooling down a little bit, at least to a level of comfort that means you can sleep at night. We're a nation of sleep deprived people, aren't we? I'm surprised we're not all hissing and gurring and grumping at each other in the street, but apparently we're not. Too much to be cheerful about. Alright lovelies, until the next one, cheerio.